Good morning and welcome to Heritage Matters, the 16th of January 2025 edition. And we want to welcome all of you, listeners and viewers, to today's edition of the program. Today we have for you quite a panel. We have with us today Mr. Cosbert Woods. He's the UN Country Coordination Officer for the Eastern Caribbean. And we also have with him Mr. Melano Welcome. He's an artist. And they are going to talk to us about the update on a mural project at the Newtown Playing Field location, which has been ongoing for some time. They came and reported about 2 or 3 months ago on the project. Now they're going to update us on its status. And we also have with us Ms. Alicia Daniel of the Department of Culture. Welcome to all of you on today's program. So we'll kick off, first of all, by asking Mr. Woods to tell us about this project.
Good morning, Mr. Hanley. Good morning to the other panelists, and good morning to the listening and viewing audience. As Mr. Hanley indicated, I'm Cosbert Woods, the UN Country Coordination Officer for St. Kitts and Nevis, attached to the UN Resident Coordinator's Office for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean. And sometime in late October, we were here speaking about UN Day, which is commemorated every year on the 24th of October. Now, last year, on the 24th of October, was a very special milestone in the UN system, as it was the 80th anniversary of the United Nations coming into existence. So there were several activities and occasions and ceremonies that took place across the global system to commemorate this special occasion. In our neck of the region and within the remits of our coordination office, we were working with the different stakeholders in the countries that we support in terms of activities to commemorate St. Kitts and Nevis's involvement in the UN. And just to recap, as we would have reiterated previously, St. Kitts and Nevis became a full member of the United Nations shortly after independence. I think we gained it, we all know when we gained independence, September 1983, and I think a few days later, on September 25th, St. Kitts and Nevis became a full member of the United Nations. And since then, and even prior to then, the UN has been through the agencies, funds and programs, been providing technical, programmatic support to the Federation in several areas: human rights, social protection, health and well-being, economic development, youth empowerment, sports, you name it. The several UN agencies, funds and programs have been actively involved working with stakeholders in St. Kitts and Nevis over the last couple of decades. So in discussions with key focal point ministries here, what we decided to do was to have a commemorative mural celebrating the UN involvement in St. Kitts and Nevis. And this was done in collaboration with the Department of Culture and Heritage and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And they would have been instrumental in terms of the recommendations and the guidance in terms of this particular project. So just to recap, what was decided was that we would have a competition and invite different persons, artists within the broader community to design a mural that was representative of the theme for the year, and that encapsulated St. Kitts and Nevis's involvement and partnership with the UN development system. And after we would have received different submissions and would have reviewed them, we selected a design that was presented by Mr. Milano Welcome, who is sitting to the left of me. And thereafter, we would have worked on putting together a schedule and agreeing on a location, which the southern wall of the Newtown playing field on Pond Road was selected as the location. And in order to make this a whole of society approach, we actually invited the general public, different groups, individuals to come out and participate in the painting process. So Mr. Welcome would have gone and did the outline of the mural, and then over the course of the last 2 months, November, December, well, some of December, once you get into a specific period in December, you're into the carnival period, the carnival and Christmas period. So activities of that nature may be somewhat limited.
Everything else take a back seat.
Yes, everything else take a back seat. But I think it was mostly completed, and then the finishing touches were put on in early January. So we have completed the process. We did a brief handover or unveiling ceremony not too long ago, just to indicate to the public that the mural is now completed, and we invite different persons to come and see and reflect on it. But one thing I would like to say is we were very appreciative of the participation and the persons that came out and were involved in the painting process. If I may tell you about some of the groups, we had persons from the St. Kitts and Nevis Youth Parliament Association. We had persons from the Association of Persons with Disabilities, civil society groups like the Rotary Club of Lyamega, the Police Drum Corps, I think that's the name of Youth Drum Corps. They came out as well, the young boys. Persons from the Newtown community, some of the footballers and residents within the neighborhood, some of the other UN officials on the ground, different youth, other youth groups came out and participated in the painting process. So it was a very good exercise and a very participatory exercise. And I think the feedback that we got from persons that were involved in the process was that they really appreciated having the opportunity and being asked to be part of this. And they hope that in the future, similar initiatives could be undertaken where they would have the opportunity to participate. I think one of the things that the artists incorporated into the communal painting exercise was that everyone that came out and participated in painting had an opportunity to imprint their hand signature on the wall, So I guess, if persons walk by or they're in the vicinity, they can tell their family, their friends, their children that they were part of this process. And if you go there and you look, you would see my hand at this particular location, look for the long fingers or the lines in the hand or whatever, however they would want to describe it.
Or the one with 4 fingers instead of 5.
Yes, one day when we went to paint, this guy came by with his baby, and gave the baby the brush, and he made a few strokes, and then, the baby was able to put his hand in the paint and then, put it on the wall. So if you go there, you would see a little baby's handprint on the wall. Unfortunately, his handprint also ended up on his father and his shirt as well, but
Well,
that is to be expected.
that is good.
With the young ones, but yeah, it was a
But tell me
very
something.
good experience. Yeah.
One thought that comes to mind is that, and Mr. Welcome could probably address this, is that all artists have a particular style of painting. And of course, I would also note that many of these persons might not have been artists at all, so they haven't a clue really about painting. How do you coordinate all this to still get the desired end result?
Well, personally for me, I like to be in the midst of things where I can go. As Mr. Woods said, I did the outline, and when it came around having the different various groups, I allocated a space where I asked them to choose a spot. I had a little prop with the image that I did for the mock-up. Yes. For the mock-up that I did, I asked many persons to signify where they would like to paint, and from different primary group colors, I taught them how to mix the specific color that was allocated to the space itself, where they in turn learned how to mix different colors from primary groups. You can mix any colors from red, blue, and yellow. So that was a lesson for them. Many of them were thankful for that lesson because they decided, yes, this is a new skill that they can awaken. And having them fill it in, many of them were unsure of how the end result would look, but it just takes a little bit of encouragement and dedication.
Okay, and so in the end, you have a nicely coordinated result that represents what is expected.
Yes.
So what does the mural itself represent? What does it depict?
It represents community and involvement, because as you know, growing up, we always heard it takes a community to raise a child. And that was, in my case, my reality, where many persons in the community contributed to my upbringing. And having to give back to the society is an incorporation of different various groups, people who have contributed back to society in terms of providing law and order, or our farmers in particular, giving us a sustainable growth. We have nurses who particular tend to our needs in healthcare. We have construction workers who deal with our infrastructure and everything on a daily basis. We have the creatives, as the mural depicts. It didn't have someone there to signify, but the mural itself depicts that we are all creatives in our own right. And there are a few different things on the background where it's implemented and shows that there are different things that can be signified from our past to our present, from where we came from and where we are now. And all the inclusiveness together shows that to get better together. So, yes.
Okay. Was it difficult getting people to come forward to participate in the project?
No.
No.
Like, many persons were willing. A few persons actually stopped by on the way driving and parked and said, hey, can I assist? What can I fill in on?
That's good.
So it was a good community initiative.
Wonderful. I think from little, when we are small, somehow there is an attraction of colors, paint, and images that seem to interest us from youth. Some of the first things that you give a baby are like paints or crayons and markers, and they just love making marks and paint and seeing colors emerge. So I'm not surprised to hear that. And how many people would you say were in the end involved in the mural?
Let's see, if I had to say correctly, a rough estimate would be roughly over 100.
Okay, wonderful.
It's a good turnout.
So it's a real community.
Because from the different groups itself, would say close to 100 or
Or above.
Probably 200.
Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful.
It was a good turnout.
I know you're being conservative there, but it's probably that. Yeah, wonderful. So we now have this mural on the wall. How permanent do you see that being?
I hope that the community values it, because many persons from the community has said this mural brings a new light to the community, where everybody knows going up on the southeastern wall at the main road, there used to be a lot of commercial ads on the wall, and many persons said, hey, well, this brings such new life to the community, where in terms of the colors and the message sent out throughout the mural, it shows that they can look forward to having something brighter to look forward to, because many persons said, hey, the wall looked dull for many years, and this, it really brings out the light in the community.
So just to be clear, you said it's the southeastern wall?
Yes.
That's the one when you turn up what we used to call a bypass road to go to Valley Mart from Frigate Bay Road.
No, the southern wall.
Oh, the southern wall.
Yeah, the southern wall.
Okay.
Yeah. So when
All
you're
right.
driving along Pond Road.
The main Pond Road.
So that's the one on the main Pond Road?
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right. I heard you say southeast, I heard him say south. So I was just trying to be clear which one it is, just so people have a clear idea of where to look if they haven't looked already. Okay, wonderful. And it was interesting to hear the type of groups, even the Association of Disabled Persons participated in that. Were there any blind people who participated?
No, sadly not.
No. Interestingly, I used to, when I used to delve a lot into art, there was one woman in particular that I used to read of. She was blind, but I think we have to use the definition that they gave. She was legally blind. I think there was some semblance of sight left, but not fully. And she used to produce the most marvelous paintings, right? And I'm like, well, she has a deep sense of sight, so, it was amazing. So that's why I was interested in finding out. We had the youth parliament people, police, youth, drum corps, football teams, and other youth groups, and so on. Coming out of this, is there any idea about having further murals done?
There actually is. And it's when Mr. Liebert from the Department of Culture and I were brainstorming on the logistics for this, he mentioned the possibility of seeking the UN support for other murals to be painted around the country at strategic locations. So I told him, yes, we can look into supporting that. But I'm also seeing an opportunity for this project to also merge with some of the initiatives that are being undertaken in the realm of citizen security. Because our office also supports the work being undertaken by the government in enhancing citizen security in St. Kitts and Nevis. And just coming out of the experience and even engaging with Mr. Liebert on the process and the involvement and ownership and a sense of civic pride that went into or that was associated with some of the other murals that have been painted to date, we saw this as an opportunity to bring in the Ministry of Social Development and the Department of Community Development to partner with this. So it's not just an initiative that's being spearheaded by the Department of Culture, but now we have Department of Community Development, because we see this as an opportunity whereby we can bring certain individuals from certain communities to be involved in this process. So, I mean, yes, as similar to what we did with this one, you have the main artist or artists that would be involved in the design, but we can make this a community activity at the end of the day and get some of those individuals in society that may be on the wrong path or, you know, involved in gang activities and so forth, and are looking for alternative pathways to better themselves, to be involved in this process.
Sometimes these people just need somewhere just to channel their energies.
Right, exactly.
Rather than into the wrong avenues.
Exactly. And from the feedback and the experiences that we have seen with some of those individuals that may have been involved in some form or fashion, or maybe not even directly involved, but having a mural painted in their neighborhood or their community where, as Mr. Welcome said, it helps to brighten up the atmosphere. It brings a certain level of vigor and community and pride to that thing. Then they now have a purpose in terms of protecting the area and continuing to beautify it and stuff like that.
If anybody tamper with it, they're going to get now serious.
Exactly. So we see this as an avenue to kind of get more of these individuals involved in projects of this nature and to enhance civic pride back into our communities and give these fellas a sense of, you know, instead of destroying our communities and being a menace, we have a role to play in terms of protecting and uplifting. And again, these murals tend to be very impactful and engaging, and the messaging or the stories that are depicted in them may also resonate with some of these individuals and give them a greater sense of purpose. And that is what we are hoping would happen when we continue this initiative.
Yeah, well, I certainly hope that happens. And of course, I'll want to invite the general public to not just pass by and glance at it, but get it absorbed. Art is a funny thing. Usually well done art doesn't just hit you with something which you see at a glance and you move on. It absorbs you. And you can sit and watch a piece of art for a while and try to analyze all the facets of it, you know, and try to tell the story behind what it is trying to tell you and so on. And maybe even go as far as to think about the artist and the artists who participated in it. And Mr. Welcome, of course, was the chief artist. And I understand you've done a number of other projects.
Yes.
Tell us about those.
Well, I have done a few projects around the country itself. One of the biggest projects I have done would be in the mansion on the wall next to the football field.
I know that one, yeah.
Yes, the one with the train. Yes, that was one of my projects. That was spearheaded from the creative economy sector and cultural heritage, where there was a group of artists selected from around the country, and we had to choose different stories from in our past, because our heritage and our culture seems to be fading over the years, and they wanted to preserve that in stone and paint, where they told us to depict stories from back then. So my story was about runaway slaves from back then, where many persons resonated to go into Mount Layamiga to seek refuge from the captives, and having this signify...
Including Marcus.
Yes, Marcus the Great. Yes, he had evaded many captures until one day they finally got up to him. Many saw him as a ghost in the past. So having these stories being told and remembered, it takes you back many years into history of where we came from as a society. And many persons were like, why did you signify the train? Well, the train has a significance on the painting because in Mansion, that's the only place in St. Kitts where the railroad tracks actually cross the main road.
Overhead.
Yes.
Because
So-
it crosses
In a few
many
places.
places, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But
overhead.
overhead,
Yeah.
yes. So that's where the bridge and the trains actually came in. And having one of my most recent projects done would be behind Skelec, where I signified one of the great, how should I put it, a great member of the community, Bucky, who has contributed so much to the McKnight area, where I have had many stories where persons came and said, hey, this man contributed to giving pageantry shows, sponsoring football teams, giving back to the community, where he provided school necessities to children who didn't have it. Many persons call him their uncle, even though he wasn't related to them. But it just signifies the pride that people have, and it says to give persons their flowers when they are alive, and I truly believe in that.
Okay.
So there are many different smaller ones. My very first mural that I did in St. Kitts would be in Atlas. That would be of the national bird and the national flower, right next to the ATM. That was a project, a beautification project for the community. Sadly, it had to stop because many persons said they didn't really want any paintings on the old stonework, which I understand. It's a preservation of our culture. So I'm looking forward to having different areas in the community and on the White Island itself.
I think I heard one community person comment one time about that mural painting thing, where they were saying that people had come in and started painting on some of the walls, and they never came to the community and asked whether the community wanted that there. So I think that's an important thing sometimes, to get in touch with the community first to make sure that they're happy with that kind of thing before we do something, because they may tell you, no, we don't want that there. And of course, when that happens, they may vandalize it because they're not happy with it. Okay, so perhaps in the future, well, I hope it's ongoing, that we seek the approval of the people in the community before we do these things. But right now we're going to take a commercial break and come right back afterwards to Heritage Matters.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
What are you doing?
She said, drink a rude boy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh. She said, drink a rude boy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh. Cause when we out and we active, living we life. So when we drink, we drinking. Rude boy. So when we drink, we drinking. Rude boy. Oh, Miss Lady, anyway you see we are we building up our vibes. So when we drink, we drinking. Rude boy. So when we drink, we drinking. Rude boy. Why?
More than 42 million cars from 19 different car companies are being recalled for faulty airbag inflators. Repairs are fast, easy, and free. The problem isn't with the airbag, it's with the airbag inflator. Because the inflator can rupture, shooting shrapnel through the airbag, which can cause serious injury or even death. Don't risk it, fix it.
Please contact TDC Automotive Division to find out if your Toyota vehicle is affected by the Takata airbag recall. Visit or call us at 465-2511 in St. Kitts or 469-5430 in Nevis.
It's the energy of we people, something pulsing inside. It beating every soul, a feeling we cannot It's always pushing us forward, the limit up in the sky. There's rhythm in how we flow, a rhythm that can't be denied. It's in the feeling in how we talk. It's in the meaning in our spot. It is the thing that sets us apart, who we are. Cause the rhythm of life keeps bumping. Your rhythm flow, 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 flow.
Welcome back to Heritage Matters. And as mentioned earlier, we have with us Mr. Milano. Welcome. He's an artist who was involved in the commemorative mural project at the Newtown Playing Field, part of a UN celebration of the 80th anniversary of the United Nations. And Mr. Welcome was part of that project. He, in fact, was the one who won a competition that sought to find a concept. And he presented something which was chosen, and he led a team of persons to create the project, to create the mural, including, as it turned out, anyone who wanted to participate in it. Okay, and that's very interesting, and that's really, really what I call a community project. We also have with us Miss Alicia Daniel. She is of the Department of Culture, and I would want to have her weigh in on that project.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. And because Mr. Hanley knows me from a child, he forgot the second part of my name, Blake.
Yeah.
And it's my pleasure to be here on Heritage Matters. And yes,
My apologies, and we're going to make sure you put it in. The old people say you have to give the people a handle behind the name. In this case, it's the name.
okay, so I would like to congratulate Mr. Welcome. And I have been impressed by his murals. I have not seen any of his individual personal paintings that he would have done, but yes, I've seen his murals, and they are indeed striking. So I was really happy to hear about the one that you did in association with the UN, and I have to look at it. I must admit, in passing, I have not seen it, but the next time I'm driving along Pond Road, I'll make sure to have a look at it. But yes, it forms, or it's in conjunction with what as cultural heritage we refer to as our mural project. In terms of that, we have also identified other artists around the island, and we have placed other murals in the different locations around the island. So if you see a mural that looks fresh or relatively fresh, then you would know it would have been since our director, Mr. Pierre Librard, took up the post. He has ensured that these have been going up. So they have been going up about 2 years, 2 plus. They have been going up. So, and they have indeed, as you have rightly said, Mr. Welcome, they have beautified the area.
And brightened it.
Yes.
Yeah, and provided something interesting for people to look at and absorb. We have a new guest with us right now, Mr. Sifroy Phillip. He is of the Keys Global Empowerment Association. And I remember some months ago we had Mr. Phillip and Mr. James on the program talking about their Keys Global project. And I can recall that one of the things that came up was the murals that were being done in Keys. And I think though they brightened the walls and the scenery, I remember hearing a comment that said that one of the problems that the Keys community had is that no one consulted them before they were put up. Any comments on that, Mr. Phillip?
Good morning to everybody. Mr. Hanley, thanks for inviting me here this morning along with your other guests. I think it's interesting and timely that the young man on my left, Andy, I don't remember your name, but addressed the issues of
Daniel Blake.
Murals. But before I get into that, because I don't want to seem controversial, it's never good to start on the controversial note. So I'd like to commend the young man on what he's doing. But we, and I said we, in the Keys community, and specifically the Keys Empowerment Group, we believe in having a direct input up front on anything, not just murals, that affects our lives. So I'm kind of glad to be here. So it's an opportunity for me on behalf of the group to make some contacts with him and see how we can work together, not separately, but together. So that's my opening to say I think it's opportune that we have young people seizing opportunities to do positive things. And as I said, I want to commend him. And who knows what might come out of this chance meeting, I don't know, where we can do even bigger and better things.
Yes, and I'm sure the Keys community will be glad to be a part of that that project. So do you, I don't know if I asked this already, but do you have any other projects coming up soon?
Yes, hopefully I have a few in the pipeline. I have not been directly
commissioned.
Yes, not as yet, but hopefully there are a few that persons around the island have said they would like to see murals in these specific places, especially along the main roads where our tourists basically pass by every day. And they said having to see these murals, they actually bring a sense of what our history and what our country brings to the world and showcases that. So hopefully there are a few of them that I'm planning on doing, not only from commission work, but I'm personally going to do a few of them on my own, where I hope persons can just stop and come by, lend a hand, put a stroke. You never know who may see you, and in the long run, you can always go back and tell your friends, family, and future generations to come that, hey, I was here, I participated in this, and this is something.
Now I notice your shirt is saying Milano's Art Studio.
Yes.
Where is that located?
Well, it's my business where it's home-based in Cayon, but I'm mostly out in the field doing work. From home, I do different things such as graphic arts, printing t-shirts, and doing different custom work, where I actually help school students in terms of doing modules, building sculptures, SBAs, and different stuff.
Okay, so you are involved in passing on the knowledge and skill to others. That's exciting. Do you have any individual pieces of artwork that you have for display that people can see? I understand that you participated in some exhibitions before.
Yes.
Tell us about those.
Well, I've had my most recent exhibition was at the Cable Building, third floor, in the youth department, where I had a few of my pieces that I recently did. Many of them I had created from taking to Carifesta in 2025 Barbados, where they were new, so I wanted to display them because many persons back home here, they said they never got a chance to see them before I took them, which it was a late notice for the Carifesta, but those were specifically for Carifesta. I didn't get the opportunity to have many of them sold there, but having the exposure there, it was great, meeting your artists and just diversifying myself into different disciplines and learning from them. But yes, I do have pieces. You can check out a few of them at Judith Rollins. That's at Portland Sugar Apples. Yes, I have a few of them stationed there, so persons can pass by and see them. But personally, if you would like to commission one or get to see any, you can hit me up at 669-4100. That's my WhatsApp business number. And I have a few of them on my Facebook page, Milano's Art Studio, and Instagram, same name, Also on my business page, my website.
Tell us of one of the pieces that's your favorite.
One of my favorites, I would say Lady Layamiga.
What does that depict?
It depicts a black lady wearing our national dress, and she's standing on the edge of black rocks. Now, the reason why I signify black rocks is because it's a place where many tourists can go, many locals can go, and we signify that as a place where when St. Kitts first, well, I wouldn't say first, but our most recent volcanic eruption, it basically, people would say destroyed the area, but it beautified the area. Where having to stand at the edge of black rocks and get the feel of the Atlantic and Pacific breeze flowing on your face, it's just refreshing, and it gives you a whole new world to explore. You can see different things from the scenery of the seas straight to the mountainscape, and having to stand at black rocks and see the beauty of Mount Layamiga. Nothing is more beautiful than nature.
Well said. You're poetic with that one. Yeah. Alicia, you want to say something?
Yes, I did find him quite poetic because he was able to stir up a picture of something violent happening that resulted in beauty. And that is indeed what happened in that area, because that's one of the reasons why I suppose as locals and as visitors we flock to the area. So yes.
But funny enough, many people go to Black Rocks but don't quite connect with the true history or realism of what Black Rock really signifies. And I find when I take visitors there and tell them about what Black Rock is about and turn them around and look at the mountain and say that's where that came from and so on and so on, it brings a sense of awe, you know? And they're like, wow, so I'm standing where lava flow came tumbling down from that volcano and swamped the area. And now, as Ms. Daniel Blake quite rightly said, out of such violence came something of real natural beauty. And we have that today to enhance our view and our appreciation of this wonderful little land that we live in. One of the things I say about St. Kitts is that we are small, but we have such a diversity of things, from the sea to the mountains to ponds to fields to volcanoes, even small rivers and streams. Whereas when you go to, let's say, large countries, you have to go to faraway regions to see such diversity from place to place. But here we encapsulate all of that in one small little place, you know, and that's kind of amazing. All right. Good. Ms. Daniel Blake, is there anything that your ministry, which you think is the Department of Culture? Cultural heritage.
We are in the process of rebranding. So we now refer to ourselves as the Department of Cultural Heritage.
Okay, I like that. That encapsulates a lot more. Yeah. Cultural heritage. What do you have in the pipeline for that, for anything to do artistic?
Oh, we'll continue our mural project for sure, because we find it's not only a display of simply art, but it helps to also significantly portray our heritage. If you realize what Mr. Malcolm was saying, he sees or he interprets in his art things going on around him. In terms of the UN mural, he mentioned that it depicts community of different persons who contribute and who make up a community. Similarly, his favorite painting, Lady Layamiga, it speaks of our heritage, something that belongs to us. There's I would assume there might be similar places around the world, but there is nothing else like Black Rocks and nothing else like home.
And you also have a number of things that your department has been working on, and I think you want to give us an update on all the activities.
Yeah, we have been quite busy.
You have been doing, yeah.
We have been quite busy. Last year, we did quite a few things, including showcase our traditional knowledge bearers. Those are the persons who have the skills of doing things that connect us to our culture. And so we would have had 2 shows where we would have showcased them. Our live show, which we call The Cook Up, and our mini documentary show, which we call Living Heritage. Both of them showcase what our traditional knowledge bearers do. So we would have had persons on like Wingrove Hicks Williams. He spoke to us about Wailers, which is another musical development that came out of the Federation. And so it's something that we are very proud of. I mean, it was quite well showcased during the Carnival period. And it's also showcased
that's
during
like what it's
cultural-
designed for.
That's what it's designed for. And we would have showcased as well other persons who do things with craft. So it's not only music, it's a wide spectrum of things that we look at. And in addition to our shows, where by the way, I should mention, you can find them on our YouTube channel, which is St. Kitts Culture. So all of them would be listed there, and you just go in, and we also showcase Socrates as well. And I think these are coming fresh to me.
Okay, we have a call coming through. Caller, good morning. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Seem like we lost that. We will encourage that caller to try again. We'll be waiting on your call.
So we would have showcased.
Sounds like he's back. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning. I want to commend the mural project over the years. But an observation and a concern that there seems not to be any ongoing management, upkeep of those murals. So over time, they fade, and it seems as though, nothing was in place to keep them, bright up over time. I would appreciate some feedback as to what is the intention to maintain these murals. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your call and your input, and that's a very pertinent comment. Maybe we can ask Mr. Welcome to tell us what the plan is for maintenance of these murals.
Well, personally, I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for myself. I would like to, I personally go back out to my murals over time. If I see the colors fading, then I would go and give it a fresh coat of paint. But in terms of keeping up the preservation of the murals, I would just encourage the public to not vandalize these spaces, because it takes time, it takes effort, and having to sit in the hot sun to do these things is not easy. It brings a lot of aching pains for the artists. When we finish, I can speak.
Because sometimes you sit or stand or kneel or bend in one position for quite a long time.
Many hours, especially if the sun is very hot. And there are places where we do these things that are right in the reach of community members. Like, many persons would want to put their feet on the wall or something like that. If you can do that in a different place from the murals, even now and then, if you see garbage out there around it, you put a garbage bag there so people can put their garbage inside the bag and not litter on the side of the roads. That way we keep the preservation of these murals for a very long time. So it's not only a personal concern for the artists, but it's also a community effort as well.
Okay. And Ms. Daniel Miss Daniel Blake, is there any how should I say, planned intervention by the Ministry of Cultural Heritage to ensure the preservation and maintenance of these? But before you answer, we're going to take a call. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to the guest, Mr. Milano. Welcome.
Good morning.
I am extremely happy for the media to give him this exposure. This is the voice of his uncle, Winston Welcome, calling from New York.
Oh, wow. Okay. You're listening from afar.
I didn't anticipate this arrangement. I am on it. And I'm extremely satisfied. This young man is a very talented, artistic, have some unusual hands. And it is so profoundly wonderful for the young people to get this kind of exposure that will help them develop more of something that is fundamental. And we cannot waste these talents. We have to enhance, improve moving forward.
And encourage.
Any young persons who are traveling a direction of their dreams and what they can do for themselves and make the world happy. I am very pleased. The description of that art of Black Rock. Yes, indeed, he sounds like a poet. So I second that motion, whosoever said it. So all I can say right now is for you all to encourage him. I will encourage him so he can develop more and more, and he could be an institution to others moving forward. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks for calling, and he's certainly on his way with that. We can assure you of that. And thanks for joining us all the way from across the water, all the way up in New York. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Jolly good. Okay, Mr. Philip.
Yeah, I'd like to make a little short intervention. It's fascinating to listen to the young man. Mm-hmm. And it just shows how small we are. Because we are both from Green Valley. Mm-hmm. And the area that he's in right now about the murals and stuff is something that we have discussed. Mm-hmm. We haven't identified anybody. I'm not saying I'm the president of the group, the KGEA. Mm-hmm. But it's people like him we want to ensure is given that mileage of the potentials. I noticed he said that he lives at Cabby Tree. I would be impressed to know if he knows how that place got its name. You don't have to tell me now, but I could tell you there are Cabby trees on the hill now.
I know that.
No.
And it's so important in terms of your program and Heritage Matters to make sure that that information, whether it's captured, documented in whatever form as he does, is there. So generation next down the road understands that you just don't go and knock down trees. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're talking about putting up things that are man-made. Mm-hmm. But here we have places in our communities around the island where in the name of growth and development, we just move things because something look nice. Let me just quickly, I don't want to interfere with him.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead. We have to.
In the last year or two, the authorities did something very nice in the village. They refurbished the community center in Keys, and they named it after my sister, Louise Phillips Jones Community Center. It just so happened that that was the year that this group was launched, a couple of months after. So we were able to take advantage of the new facility with its limitation, but it's an improvement. And this is not to knock anybody, but at the front of the building facing the roadside is a photograph of my sister. All right. So the point I'm making, there's a picture of a beautiful picture, but will it be maintained? With time, the sun, the rain, who is going to be responsible for making sure that it is kept? It's guys like him who could do something a little more lasting. So he has these ongoing projects, and I'm proud to say, to the credit of the authorities, that as far as I know, this is the first community center named after somebody. And so I feel a sense of pride that the authorities saw it fit. And so, but when you go there and you see the name Louis Philip Jones, you could go by the center, but there's nothing tells you who she is or who she was.
So we need that information.
So that is where, say, our group, the KGEA, comes in now, because we live with her and among her, and people like her. We can now document that.
We're going to continue that discussion when we come back from a short commercial break. See you when we get back.
Found the sound 98.9 FM.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices, Rams is always here. You want your loyalty, Rams is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hostels.
It's the energy of we people, something pulsing inside. It beating every soul, a feeling we cannot It's always pushing us forward, the limit up in the sky. There's rhythm in how we flow, a rhythm that can't be denied. It's in the feeling in how we talk. It's in the meaning in our spot. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are, 'cause the rhythm of life keeps bumping. Together going strong, no matter what, we keep things flowing. We people, we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky, celebrate and come let your rhythm flow, 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 flow. Come let your rhythm come let your rhythm flow.
Welcome back to Heritage Matters. And when we took a break, we were talking about the naming of important places and so on in the community. But an important point that was being made was about information about the persons who these things are named of. Mr. Philip was making that comment. Mr. Philip.
Yeah, I was piggybacking on the whole perspective of identifying landmark, because that's one of the main goals of our group, the KGEA, to identify specific landmarks within our community. So that during the last year, for example, we did two things. We repainted the letterbox in the village. It might sound simple, but we, with the consent of the authorities, because it's no longer functional, but it's the structure is there.
Being preserved.
Being preserved. So we had it repainted, and so now someone is in the process of documenting the information. For example, we have to speak to the authorities. For example, do we know when it was erected in the first place? And stuff. Now, that information has not only to be documented and kept for somebody's private stuff, but it should be available to the public. Not only, say, for example, we have it, say, in the public library, for example, but now that we have a community center, can that information be placed or housed there, and so at specific times or days, what have you, people visiting, not only visitors, but returning nationals, especially from the community, can go there and learn. For example, it's nice that we have something like Black Rocks. I don't know if you ever heard about Gun Hill.
Yes.
But Gun Hill is an area between Keys and Keon. And I remember as a youngster, there were literal cannons on the hillside. They're not there anymore, apart from the tree, the flora and fauna and stuff like that. But they're there. The Keon River, the mouth of that river, that separates Keon and Hermitage. I know you know those stuff. The bridges in Keon, one of the longest bridges anybody would tell you was that Hermitage Bridge. Yes. I mean, maybe we need to capture those things.
You see, most people don't even know it exists because it's off the main road, so they don't see it. Most people are kind of supposed to be the Mansion Bridge, as we call it, or the Christchurch Bridge. But not when you. Most of the bridges where the railway cross, they're off the regular path that pedestrians and drivers take. Yeah.
But I don't want to jump on his.
Now, one thing that I want to come back to you on is you had mentioned the fact of Cabbage Tree. Give us a little sense of where it got the name from.
Well, I wouldn't pretend that I know, but there are particular type of palm tree.
You find them mostly in the rainforested area.
Yes, I think there's some right now still in the Atlas Lodge area, and they're very graceful, elegantly tall. I mean, it's something to behold. And I mentioned the cabbage tree, but again, trees like mahogany trees, sandbox trees, those usually mark the entrance to estates around the island. Where is it today? I don't want to digress.
Well, a part of the fact that trees die at the same time, so that we push them down long before their life ends. You know.
Yes. Part of this the circle of life.
Yeah.
But part of my going to school in primary school was at the Moravian Church in Keon, and that area not only had tombstones which we sat on with the names of persons which are no longer there as I speak.
Really?
But there were also mahogany trees in that yard. I was at a funeral this week, of
mahogany trees.
Well, I know they're not there anymore, but it was like nothing is there that I knew at his age.
Yeah.
So what will be there when his children come at the rate we are going? And so our group, the KGE, and by the way, we have it's a small group. And we are deliberately small because we want to make sure that the vision we have is clear. Sometimes people get in a group and after a month, they know what they were into. So we have taken the time, and I must commend my Vice President, Dan James. He serves as both the Vice President and the Treasurer. Leroy Hodge, he's in the diaspora. Our Secretary, Yvette Blaze, and Joan Spencer, and her assistant, Yvette Blaze, they're based overseas. But we have other persons on the ground who does things because sometimes our intentions, if it's not clear, especially to the person's effect, could be seen as a stumbling block. And I say that because one of the mandates of our group is to work not only with the groups from the village, but other organizations, for example, as the Turtle Monitoring Group, headed by Dr. I think her name is Stewart.
Kimberly.
Yes.
And the Man and His Biosphere, headed by, again, a Keonite, Telka Wallace. And Keys is an integral part of this, of both of them. And so our group is endeavoring not only to document what's happening, but to get our young people in school, for example, with somebody like Dr. Stewart, who is attached to us university. Hey, we have students who are going to both Keon Primary and Keon High. Why not get them involved in part of this monitoring turtle thing? Because when we grew up, we didn't have that. I mean, there are many stories that we know of growing up about those guys who used to catch turtle, so to speak.
Keys was the turtle capital.
Well, you know, I don't want to belabor the point, but we feel slighted when other groups try to capture the turtle when they didn't consult us. But we understand turtles are all over St. Kitts, but not like in Keys. In fact, they used to call us Turtle City back in the day. We as little boys were glad when a turtle was caught overnight. We didn't go to school the next day.
It was a day off.
It was a day off. I mean, you couldn't go to school for the rest of the week because you would smell of turtle. But again, that's part of not only folklore, but it's the reality.
Yeah.
But you can't go on the beach today because of the sargassum. Who's responsible?
But that's a natural phenomenon. Well, I'll say natural because sargassum is a natural thing, but I'm sure it's being caused by intervention of humans.
Yes.
And causing the proliferation of it, because it wasn't like that previously. My understanding is from the runoff of fertilizers in certain regions that cause the overbloom of the sargassum weed. Ms. Daniel, though, you were talking about some of your developments, so I just wanted to continue on that.
Yes, and to mention as well, in terms of the maintenance of the murals, my director has messaged me. He said it's an opportunity for our private sector to lend a hand, because we do have the budding artists such as Mr. Welcome, or I shouldn't say budding, artists.
We have a call coming through. Caller, good day.
Yes, good morning. Stanley, I don't want you to lose sight of where we were going about the maintenance of the murals. I think you had begun to ask Ms. Daniel.
Yeah, she's continuing that discussion now.
Yeah, let me just say a quick thing. It must not be the responsibility of the painter, the artist, person who painted. I feel it's a very simple matter in the sense that there's something called, or should call, community development. And there's all this thing about multi-sector, multi-agency collaboration, whatever. And it is a way of getting groups in the area to adopt, take responsibility for the maintenance. You know, so it is not a difficult thing. And the money to get the paint, etc., can be raised from businesses in the proximity. But the department needs to coordinate it. They have community development officers, I guess, that have responsibility for, subdivisions of the country or whatever. They ought to be involved in getting these things kept up to date. Thank you. I'll be
Okay.
listening.
Thank you very much.
Well, caller, I see that you have hit the nail on the head. The only area that I would differ with you, we seem to be getting some feedback.
The call, yeah. What's the call?
Okay. All right. As I was mentioning, I agree with everything you said, caller, except the aspect of having the control in the hands of the community development officer. In the sense that I think as citizens, especially those in the community, we need to take more leadership roles. As such, I would think that the coordination of seeking out donors in terms of getting the paint, because paint is very expensive. I'm sure Mr. Welcome would agree with me with that. In terms of getting the coordination of the private sector as well as community groups together in order to fund the paint and whatever other materials and equipment is needed, I think communities have leaders within them. And I would suggest that persons can come forward. I think in this day and age, we need to lean a little away from leaving everything to government, and that the community can take ownership. It's the murals, etc., are in their community or in our communities, and we need to take leadership roles in terms of getting them looking at their best. And then in terms of some of the things that our department has been working on in addition to the murals, I have been mentioning that we have 2 shows that we undertake in our department. Living Heritage, which is our mini documentary series, as well as The Cook-Up, which is our live show, on which we feature some of our traditional knowledge bearers. Those are persons who have the skills that help to keep us based in terms of our heritage and our culture. And so that would include things like the recently passed Dolores Hobson. She was on our show and she showed our viewers how to make Christmas cake. And that
She was a notable
should I say a connoisseur?
Connoisseur is the right word.
Yes, and my understanding is that even this last Christmas, she would have indeed made a contribution in terms of supplying the traditional Christmas cake. And that is the emphasis of our shows as well. We try to look at the traditional ways of doing these things. And so we'll have on folklore performers as well. We've had on mummies, we've had on the female masquerade troupe, and those kind of things, including as well things that speak of our independence, such as we had a show pertaining to the national symbols as well, and where they came from and who created them. So those type of things are on our show. And we also had recently our swank competition. Again, if you would like to hear the songs, you'll have to go on our YouTube channel. And it is Saint Kitts Culture. And there you'll find some of our swank playlists. And it was amazing, some of the music that was produced there. And we had...
we featured some of them on a previous program,
yes,
right, with Pierre. Yeah.
Nice. We had our winners would have been, once again, Javid Allen. It wasn't a clean sweep this time. The first competition, it was a clean sweep. He won all categories. Most popular, best rhythm, and best lyrics. And this time he shared the prizes with Stuart Versailles. So it was wonderful. So go check them out. And we have also had our training for our folklore And that is one of the things that we do. We had bookkeeping, we had marketing courses for them to make sure that what was traditionally thought of folklore was.
Okay, we have a call on the line. Caller, good morning. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Heritage Matters.
Good morning. Talk to us.
Good morning, Heritage Matters.
Good morning. Talk to us.
Yeah, Heritage Matters. Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I hear listening you all, and very interesting program. Very, very interesting. And my concern is, yeah, good morning, good morning. My concern is the upkeeping of these things. I call before and talk about it. It's very, very important because we watch a lot of community groups around the island try to beautify and put a lot of stuff around the island to beautify it. But nobody go back and maintenance. No kind of maintenance. And I think is a concern, and we have the right to talk. And I will talk. Now, the lady there who was just speaking just before calling, she was making the point that the community, the officers them in the ministry, you got to start somewhere. Because some of them is not doing us 50% on the job. So you got to make them accountable. And let me see if we could get these things done. Because that is how it used to be long time ago, you know. In the community is dead. And government is who helped that. Because the gentleman is so knowledgeable. Who was talking about Cabbage Hill tree. He understand what used to go on in we community. And we got to bring it back alive for the youngsters. The next thing I would like to say quickly is that the politicians, they must shut down in the pocket. These groups ain't got money like that. You know, have a good morning. I will listen.
Thanks for your call. Thanks for your call. Okay. He's continuing on the same point about the maintenance, which is important.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And we thank you, caller, for that intervention. And as you heard from Mr. Daniel Blake, that is definitely a focus now, because if you're going to keep producing these things for the upliftment of the communities, the beautification and the brightening of the spaces, it's important that it be properly kept. And they seem to have a plan in place to ensure that is taken care of.
Mm-hmm. All right. So as I was mentioning, some of the other activities that we have at Cultural Heritage includes the coordination of our annual Folk Galore, which is our folklore competition. And so this year, once again, it was spectacular. We weren't at the circus this year, but we were down on the bayfront. Again, we had numerous persons coming out to see our folklore in action.
I was at that one. It was interesting.
It was.
Although I had to leave early.
It was. And we have 3 categories. We have the masquerade competition, we have the bull competition, and we have the mixed competition. And so the winners that we had this time, we had the Valence Masquerades International winning that section. For the bull, we had the SKN Bull. And for the mixed, we had the Sandy Point Makajumbi. And I can say, the showing that they gave that night was spectacular. And I am in agreement. I got agreement here on my right. So we know that it was. And I must also commend our hosts. We have Sweet Sister Sensia and Pinocchio. And every year, they do a spectacular job. And every year, Sister Sensia runs from the bull.
Back to the folklore.
Yeah, she has it ingrained from her youth,
Yes,
I imagine.
Yes. So that was spectacular as usual. And so, you know, at Cultural Heritage, we work with everybody. We even work with our community festivals groups. We have meetings with them. We find out what are their needs in terms of technical development, because like most government departments will tell you, we don't have any money. So we assist them with advice, etc., in the same way in which we would have provided training for our folklore. And the whole objective is to empower. Our department is not necessarily there to provide funding for everything, but we can provide technical assistance. And that is what we intend to do in order to ensure that our culture and our heritage is safeguarded.
And most likely, can you, although you don't provide the funding, maybe you can give them an idea of sources that they can tap in terms of funding.
Yes, and there's also certain things such as they may get leniency in terms of when they're importing their material, their costumes, etc. The material for the costumes, because they are mostly made here. But yeah, so things like that would be possible from our end.
Great. So you had a very active few months and season, and I'm sure the plan has already begun for what's to come.
Yes, indeed. And there are several things that are fixed. As mentioned previously, the folklore competition. We also have our ICH core knowledge transfer camp. That is also fixed. We'll see how we go through with that this year. We normally have it at the St. Johnson's Community Center, and we have our young developing practitioners. We have young people between the ages of 8 and 17 learning how to play the string band instruments, fife, kettle drum, guitar, and quattro. And, you know, we also have persons learning how to dance to traditional clown dance, and we have them learning makajambi, and we have them learning actors as well as mummies. And that is very important in terms of making sure that the younger generation know how to do these things, because we have already lost some of those art forms that we would have had previously.
I was actually going to say it's good to see the I would even say concerted effort in reviving some of these groups that seem to have been on the wane. So it's good to see that we capture them before they're lost, like some of the others that have been. I even heard that some of the lost ones, there's an attempt being made to even revive those.
And I'd also like to commend the NCDF, the Nevis Cultural Development Foundation. They would have made an attempt to revive some of those art forms which have been lost. And so I take the opportunity to commend Akela Bendito, because she's been doing a wonderful job there. And here we have also had some practitioners working with the Department of Creative Economy. I'd mentioned as well Marcia Jeffers. Yes, and she's working with Jeremiah Stanley Carey, and they have been working with schools in order to try and revive things like nigger business and cowboy and Indians, right, to make sure that they continue. There was some revival of cowboy and Indians on the part of Aidan Hendrickson, St. Peter's bringing back the culture as well. So we do have persons on the ground doing their best to bring back some of these art forms which we would have had previously that are no longer. It's a matter of going back out to practitioners who may no longer practice but are still alive. To get their knowledge from them.
That's important to capture that, because if they pass with that knowledge, then it's gone.
It's gone.
So we have to capture those while they're around and pass it on to the youths and make sure that they can carry it on, because that's what society is all about, taking the past and passing it down through the generations. So it's good to see that happening.
we also had a cultural music workshop where it falls under what we call our master classes, and we would have had 3 seasoned someone who plays the kettle drum, someone who plays the bass drum, and someone who plays the fife. And up at the Dr. William Connor Primary School, they would have had sessions. And out of that, we hope to have more live music accompanying the folklore during our carnival time.
Okay, wonderful. Because some of them, like the clown music, seem to have been going out. We're going to take a small commercial break and we'll come right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hostels.
It's the energy of we people, something pulsing inside. It beating every soul, a feeling we cannot It's always pushing us forward, the limit up in the sky. There's rhythm in how we flow, a rhythm that can't be denied. It's in the feeling in how we talk. It's in the meaning in our spot. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are, 'cause the rhythm of life keeps bumping.
So who your people are? You're from here?
Yes, welcome back to Heritage Matters. We took a small commercial break and now we're back. And we were talking about cultural revival and all the things that were being done by the Ministry of Cultural Heritage. But right now we have a caller coming in. Caller, good morning.
Good morning again. A while ago I was listening to the ladies speak about nigger business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good morning.
And you like nigger
A while
business?
ago, I heard the lady was talking about the nigger business.
Mm-hmm.
And the nigger business was one the troops were used to carry Sinkers Carnival over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to see them really working desperately to get back that damn carnival.
Mm-hmm.
It was from my area, Cooley, Crab and the boy. And the Indian and Cowboy was from Harriston. Those two groups they used to make such a difference in carnival.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be grateful if the ministry could move around and get to some of these elders and talk to them, because each one of them carry a reputation.
Mm-hmm.
Not even the day we don't go lawyer where we don't see now. They're talking, they're saying the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But we know it failed. A lot of the old people them die. But ZIZ is what drop the ball and make us lose a lot of these troops.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they were documenting things, we wouldn't in this position here. Because people used to play mass and go out to look for these troops every Christmas.
Well, the
Good
thing is, they want so much, because when those things were really around, it was a part of the cultural, how should I say, landscape, in the sense that they moved from village to village and town to town and area to area, doing their craft. And I think it's carnival that really killed them, you know. So what we need to see is that revival of them being able to be back in the communities, on the streets, performing for people, and people being a part of that performance.
Yes. I totally agree, Mr. Hanley. And one of the things that we have realized the importance of documentation, as was raised by our caller, because if something isn't recorded and kept in place for us, we lose it.
Yes.
And that is quite natural, because even some of the tales that were told, our stories, if they aren't repeated consistently, we won't remember them.
That's right.
And so that is something that we are striving to do at the department, including the fact that we are in the process of sending in an application to UNESCO in terms of documenting our folklore, in terms of getting them inscribed, so that eventually not only the people of St. Kitts and Nevis would know about our folklore, which UNESCO terms all of them as masquerade traditions, but globally.
Under the umbrella of culture, of intangible
cultural heritage. Yes, yes, because these are things that you can't see them, you can't touch them, but these are things that can be shared. It's something like, it's a concept that you have to understand and know. And so we are doing our best to document them. And as long as we get through our application, we should have our information there for young people coming after us to know all about.
Pass from generation to generation.
Yes. In addition to the fact, as was also said by the caller, I had an interesting conversation / interview with one of our wild Indians, and I think our caller might remember him as well. I think the name he was known as was Tonto.
Tonto, yes.
Tonto, and he was one of our more prolific wild Indians, and he was explaining all about that to me. And so hopefully very soon you should be able to see him on our YouTube channel.
Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, good to see efforts, and we can assure the caller that there are efforts in place to try and bring these things back, including your nigger business and the cowboys and Indians, and Tonto to be a wild Indian and stuff like that. Okay, now, Mr. Philip, is there any plans? Is it effort by is there any effort by the Keys Global Heritage Group to involve cultural heritage?
Yeah, we are in the process. In fact, what we try not to do is to be in direct I don't want to use the word competition with other groups in the say Green Valley
I
area
get you.
to duplicate what other people are already doing. For example, at our first anniversary, when we launched the KGEA, we recognized what used to happen in the village when we were children. Keys, of course, is a small village in the small island of St. Kitts. So it's minuscule. What many people didn't, and we didn't realize the importance of what it was seemingly insignificant events that happened on a weekly basis becoming important in our lives. For example, the only social gathering we had in the village was the Sunday school. The only place where people in the village were able to gather was in Bethel Gospel Hall Sunday School. So every Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock, irrespective of what denomination the villagers went to in Keyon, Moravian, Anglican, on Saturdays the Adventist, Gospel Hall, Church of God. On Sunday afternoon, those parents would send their children to the Sunday school. And the Sunday school had its own attraction. I mean, of course, the parents are glad to send them for at least an hour away. And by the way, that Sunday school was started by my parents, my father and mother. And later on, we had a second Sunday school that started in the home of William and Amelia Stephen, who were one of the persons we honored at our launch as well. Later on, they moved on to the community center. The original community center, but some time ago, Hurricane George tossed that wooden building in the Keys Gut. That led to the upgrading of the now community center that's there, right? But the point I wanted to make is that Sunday school provided an avenue, especially say Easter Monday. The Sunday school went to Hermitage Pasture in Keyon. Now, I have only been on the scenic railway once, and I was shocked. About 3 years ago, I went and I passed through Hermitage, and I didn't even know I'd passed through Hermitage.
Yep. It's just bush now.
There was a great house down there. I mean, when we went to Keyon Primary School, we used to go down there during crop time to get some braps. That's a particular type of sugar cane, had a lot of nice juice, especially if your lunch was kind of short change, you go down there to get a little top up.
A little top up.
And I was shocked. It's after I passed Hermitage Estate and I looked back and I realized there was those carts somewhere in some grass. And I asked, I said, that's where Hermitage Estate. I said, used to. It's no longer there. And it brings me to one of the points that we're doing, because you asked about us maintaining certain sites. There were bridges between Keys and Keyon that are no longer there. I mean, some by nature were destroyed, but we did not replace them. We did more modern structures, so rather than having to go over the bridge, we put some tunnels. Nobody has the thought of running over a bridge using your wheel anymore. I mean, now we look back as older persons, it's like, where's the bridge gone? Again, I'm not knocking because certain institutions, right? But it's an opportunity for our group, for example, to collaborate, say, with the Scenic Railway. They say, what is the relationship between the Scenic Railway and Keys Village? It's one of the few villages, or one of the first villages that the Scenic Railway literally passes through.
On its way out.
On its way out now.
Yeah, that is true.
When that...
I never really thought of that, but it is true.
When that development, before that development came, there was a bridge. It was the only place in Keys where you could cross from the roadside towards the seaside. Right?
Over the railway.
Over the railway. We used to call it landing. Now, it was good structure. In fact, tractors used to drive over it because there used to be cane fields on the other side and the seaside. And the advent of the Scenic Railway, it was too low.
Because I have a double-decker cars. Oh, that's why it was taken out. I kept wondering why it was removed.
For those of us who know it, it's a sore point.
Yeah.
So they promise to restore that bridge, that overpass, to its normal way.
But then it will have to be higher since
It is higher. Today it is higher. But the traffic that it accommodated back then can't happen. It's only a walkway. And for those of us who say, hey, and as I said, it's an opportunity for groups like us in the village now to go and remind those developers, hey, you didn't do what you said you were going to do. It's never too late. They may not be able to do that, but there are other opportunities for them to say part of the beautification, and there are villagers who have been doing that along the railway track that passes through the village. But as you said, the partnership that can be forged with these entities.
One of the villagers used to maintain some nice gardens around that bridge area.
Well, that's one of the things that we are doing in our annual event. For example, back in the day when they used to say home and gardens festivals, mainly sponsored by the 4-H, Basil Henderson and others, men took pride in beautifying their little gardens in the little space they had. And those are some of the people we are bringing to light in terms of when we recognize our persons in the village. We don't want to just look at the successful persons from, say, an academic perspective. Because we have people out there, guys who from the village who are now pilots in more developed societies. Recently, I think one of the Dr. Mark Grant. He is one of the sons of nurse Christine Bailey, if I'm not mistaken here. But he was born in Keys. He was here for a stint at our local hospitals. His older brother is the general manager of the Air and Seaport Authority, Don Grant. So yeah, we are small, but we've always punched above our weight.
But somebody's still maintaining some of those gardens.
Absolutely. So that is why I said we are working with other groups in the village who are quietly doing some stuff but are not known. So we want to bring, that's the,
I went and documented some of it after my talk with Don James with regards to that thing. So they're planning to fix it back up.
Well, I don't know. We have to talk.
But then their house is in the way now.
No, where that is just to strengthen that structure. Because what happens now, in fact, ironically, there are more houses now on the seaside of Keys than before.
That's what I'm saying. There are more houses down on that side.
So what they have to do now is to use another area of the village in order to get over to those houses. Which causes some issues with the traffic. And talking about traffic,
I think what happened there is now you have stairs that bring you from the upper level down to the lower level.
Well, I don't want to go into the details about that upper level because I've been there, and maybe it's because of my age, I'm a little more fearful and recognize the frailty of some of those rails. We used to run over them. I said tractors used to be there.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't say that because it don't look to me like it's support tractors.
You can't ride a bike over that. So I'm telling you, for the village, and we believe in that biblical thing that don't move a landmark. Do not move it. That is why our mural on the tank, as you leave Keys, going to Keon or coming from Keon to Keys, we have also gotten permission and has established a mural of the turtle on that particular space. And that is one of the things we are trying to do, identify, talking with the older folks in the village, some of those places of interest, cultural and otherwise, and bring it to light. But it takes time.
Yeah.
But as I said, that is why our motto, like the turtle, is sure and steadfast. We want to build something that is going to last.
Yeah. And that's where things tend to go across time when they last. Okay. Anything else you have to share with us?
Yeah,
on-
well,
on KGA?
I just want to share some of the stuff that we have done over the last year. I started to mention persons we had honored. We have two categories of persons that we recognize during our annual festivity, which is on the 22nd of December when we launched. That was back in 2024. We based, and I kind of diverted, but I started to talk about the function took on the theme around Sunday school. Because it was held at Christmas time, it was marked by carol singing. We also did caroling in the village. Now, when I was a small boy, kids didn't have any extension. Now we have 2 extensions. And at my age, to walk those extensions, it become a hazard. But the people, especially the older folks and the younger folks, didn't know anything about caroling. That was shocking to me. And in fact, they welcomed us. It was about 12 to 14 of us who went to the caroling, and they were so grateful to hear that. And they wanted to, I hope you all come back next year, which was this year. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do that. But we did a number of other things. For example, we distributed some food hampers to those persons in the village. And there are other groups that does that during the course of the year as well, and we must commend them. So yes, we based our function on the Christmas festivities. Some persons who are now older, they recited some of the recitations that they did back then. In fact, that Christmas program was the highlight of the social life in the village. It was the one time during the whole year that church would be packed. You had to, the program started at 7. By 6:30, if you're not there, that's it. You had to look in the window.
From outside.
From outside. It was a big thing. That's all we had in the village. So we tried to recreate that type of thing. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, whereas back in our time, we had 2 Sunday schools. There are none now. It's gone.
So that Sunday school that used to be in the Bethel Gospel Hall is no longer functioning.
All that is the church building. The Baptists who had moved to the community center is no longer there. And the Moravians, they started to keep us a Sunday morning service. As far as I know, it's no longer there. The building I know over time had gone into disrepair and stuff like that. I don't know what happened, and that is why we, the KGEA, we are going to insist that we know what's happening in the village. We are not telling the authorities what to do and not to do, but we're just asking for dialogue. Hey, who is controlling it? For example, we learned that right now as we speak, the building is used during the daytime for educational purposes. Okay? And I think it involves extra community personnel who come to that community. But what happens during the evening and stuff like that, when most people might be available, we just want to kind of sort those things
Something
out.
comes to mind. I was passing through Keys this week or last weekend or so. And another person in the vehicle commented on I would describe it as the abandonment of the Keys playing field. It seems as though government created a space for a playing field. They fenced it around, they put up goal posts and a gate and all of that and so on. It's been there, but nobody uses it, and it just stays there. It's not being cut. It's not being maintained. I think the goal posts and so on are now down. What's happening with that?
That's a whole program, Mr. Henry. And I would not confess that
I realize in the moment I talked about it, it seemed to have struck a chord there, but
this is what happens when the authorities, and I'm careful to use the word authorities, because it encompasses the various administrations over the time. When you fail to involve communities at the very inception of your plans, you somehow think you know what is best for a community. And sometimes we hear the expression, oh, government is continuous. All the administration change. Well, they use that to their advantage and take up what they want and stuff. I said that in light of the question you asked. Because there was a time when keys used to be referred to as poor keys. There was nothing in keys.
But
There
now-
was a time.
but then they got something.
I'm not looking back, you know. I'm just saying it should be the guide for us going forward. For example, there was a time when Keys had one telephone. One. And it was in somebody's private house. Back in the day, you know, if you said you and a person ain't getting on, how you gonna make a telephone call? How you gonna receive a telephone?
So everybody had to get on.
And I'm telling, problem. And I'm telling you, from a personal experience, there was a time when my mother, who was living abroad, we had to come to the Cable and Wireless building on Central Street on Sunday afternoons to either make or get a call. Sunday, when there were two buses running, and when they passed to Keys was at the last stop before Canary,
So they were
the
full.
bus full. Ah, you got it. So how you going to get a bus there?
Walk.
No, I'm saying things have improved. Things have improved. But it's more complex now, and that is why the involvement of the community is paramount to sustenance, because the playing field that you're referring to was not the first attempt to get a playing area in the village, you know. In fact, the first, from my memory, so a number of us almost got into trouble back then because we entered a football league back then in Keon, we call the Rural East Football League. Keys went in the league and we didn't have nowhere to practice.
So you're virtual footballers.
One short story. We decided we had enough. There was one of the cane fields just on the other side of the railway line. And we decided, man, as soon as they cut the field there, we're going to cut out a place to play football. Man, they still long to cut the field. Somehow we heard that in a few weeks they were planning to cut that field. Mysteriously, a couple days later, that field caught fire. Shortly after that, they come and they cut the field quickly because, you know, born cane had to be cut quickly.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we took advantage of that area to start to play football there, right? It was the beginning of some football and stuff, and I say that to say that today we have a player, Marvin Lewis, who is a national footballer from the village. Where does he practice? Keys doesn't have anywhere. No, you mentioned about that particular area, but that was I think that was the most recent attempt to get a place. Now, again, I don't know the history behind.
But it seems that they weren't going to great lengths. They leveled an area, they fenced it around, a nice complete wall, a gate. The gate is no longer there. Goal posts, everything was in place.
I challenge you with one thing. I challenge you, accessibility. How do villagers get down there to that beautiful walled area? How do you get there? I tell you right now, to walk there's a challenge. Never mind.
So they put the field but not an access to it.
Well, Keys is not a very not location, but the way Keys is structured is very difficult to get a place for a playing area like that. So that is why the consultation becomes key.
Because it's on a steep, sloping landscape.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but we have to make do
thanks
what's
for that, and thank you, Mr. Philip for coming on our program today, and also to Miss Alicia Daniel Blake. Thanks for updating us on the work of the Cultural Heritage Department, or Department of Cultural Heritage, and also to Milano Welcome, artist and mural painter, for your telling us about your wonderful work. And we encourage you to keep up the good work, and we're looking to see more work from you, and the exciting stuff that that will provide. And so thank you all the listeners for being tuned in. Thanks for all our callers. We appreciate your calls and the ideas that you have shared, and we look forward to seeing you next time on Heritage Matters. It's a wrap. Thank you, guys. Heritage Matters to You. Join me, Percival Hanley, this coming Friday